Good afternoon, everybody. It's February 20th, 2025, and we still have some snow flurries outside, although the sun came out. This is Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. I want to address a couple of things. I just received a phone call. I didn't even listen to the entire message. I saw who it was from. If I don't give you my phone number and I don't say that it's okay to call me, don't do it. That, to me, is somebody who's overstepping the boundaries, who searched for my personal phone number because I didn't give it out. It's nowhere on my channel. That, to me, is how stalkers behave. I don't take lightly to this kind of behavior. I will not be responding to your message, okay? You know who you are. And that's enough on that. Evidently, whether you're targeted or not, you have some psychological issues, and I'm not going to go into your psychological issues. And the camera, actually, you can see what they're doing to the blurring of my camera. There's nothing wrong with my phone. You see it fading in and out and blurring because the criminals, the people in control, they don't want the messages out there. So I'm going to read a few things here. And I'm a little concerned about this, and I think that this is something that we need to have a conversation about. It's not just about the watch list. It's how we got to the watch list. Okay? And I'm going to read something that I found on Quora, and this was a year ago. Somebody says, are there really 4 million domestic terrorists in the United States? If not, why are 4 million people on government watch lists and no-fly lists in the U.S.? Now, this is a year ago. So I posed a question on Quora. I haven't received a response back. I said, in your estimate, how many people are on the watch list in the United States in 2025? So we already know that in 2016, the ACLU determined from FOIA requests of the FBI, from 2008 information, that there were 900,000 people on lists that never get off. They just get switched from list to list. There's not been an update. I think that that is something to discuss with Tulsi Gabbard, Pam Bondi, and Elon Musk, who wants to curb government spending. I'd like to know. I'd like another investigation, another FOIA request. Let's get the numbers out there, see what's really going on. So this person responds, a lot of people believe that only illegal aliens or citizens from other countries can be added to government watch lists, but this is far from the truth. This may have been true about 2 years after 9/11, but since 9/11, police agencies all over the United States have added new candidates every year since 2001. To government watch lists. And we know this from the Pasco County Sheriff that admitted in a lawsuit with the Institute for Justice that they were randomly, through predictive policing, placing people on government watch lists. And they said that they would not be doing it again. So this is a valid lawsuit that was won against the Pasco County Sheriff's Office for harassing people for not cutting their grass, or 12-year-olds for anonymous things. Government watch lists aren't just no-fly lists. They are used to track potential suspects' every move. They are the new and improved, oh, get this, scarlet letter. You know, the scarlet. The new and improved scarlet letter. Local police agencies keep a list of those who have been added to the government watch list. So that's why they're all in on it. All the police departments, all the sheriff's departments, they're all in on it. They all know. They gaslight you. They're complicit. They're in violation of their oath of office. They should all turn in their badges. So every day that person is monitored. So guys, not for you guys that are listening to me now, for the criminals that are on my property right now, and the ones that are listening, you see this middle finger here? There you go. Yeah, the one that you sliced the nail off of yesterday. My healthy, perfectly healthy nail, while I'm in the house, gets sliced on my finger. Oh, this is not the first time this is done. They'll like stick a little stab in the side of one part of my nail, and then the other side to make it fall off. This has been going on since New Jersey, and this never happened before my targeting. So local police agencies keep a list of those who have been added to the government watch list, and every day that person is monitored. They're not only monitored by the police, but U.S. Marshals, FBI, CIA, imagine the CIA watching me feeding chickens. The Department of Homeland Security, oh my goodness, Homeland Security is very concerned with my feeding cats and chickens on a farm. The DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, they're very concerned with monitoring somebody that eats organic food and doesn't smoke, drink, or do drugs and doesn't take aspirins. Maybe they're trying to make me take an aspirin. Oh, the Secret Service, and quite possibly the MIB, Men in Black. Oh, I had the Men in Black in New Jersey. In addition to those agencies, local fire departments, EMTs, and even some church groups, you know, like the one down the block, also monitor that individual. From the individual's viewpoint, they may believe that they're being quote-unquote gang stalked, but in reality, that individual is on a secret government watch list, and everyone around them knows it. The government watch lists are designed to restrict that individual from doing just about anything, including getting a job. If this weren't enough, local police agencies also send out officer safety bulletins about that individual whenever the individual's in the area. There are cases of police brutality due to escalation by police officers during traffic stops because that individual is on a government watch list. According to Wikipedia, the government watch list is a list that contains names of individuals who are considered threats to national security and who are prohibited from flying on an airplane. Usually those people are simply told they're not allowed to fly. Well, I actually flew after my mother passed away because that's a sign that you're on a list, and they don't want some people to know that they're on a list, because actually on the no-fly list, you could actually petition to get off the no-fly list. That's a fact. But there's like no petition to get off another watch list, the non-investigative subject. However, Wikipedia fails to explain what happens to an individual once they're placed on a government watch list. They do not mention that the individual is under constant monitoring, constant surveillance. Some people who are on government watch lists end up taking their own lives because they're constantly harassed by police officers or your neighbors, and constantly watched and followed by several different police and federal agencies. Or how about the criminals that are on my property when I go into my cat's building? Yesterday, and I come back into my house, and they spread dirt all over my kitchen, take my new pot, my new stainless steel pot, because the old one that cost me $40 was etched to the deep core metal. I finally replaced it. And they did the same thing to my new 1-week-old pot. 1 frigging week I've been using it. And they etched it. They also cut holes in my pants. My new pants. Oh, that's a way to quietly get rid of any threats to national security. The only people that are threats to national security, the only people are people that come into your home and steal, harm your animals, burn your trees, dig out your culvert, neighbors that tear down your security gate, neighbors that threaten teenagers with lawsuits. Those are the real domestic terrorists. People that litter the county road, like the Scarlet and her family. People who harass and threaten you, try to coerce you into arguing and fighting with them, those are the people that should be watched. Do you want a nurse caring for your wounds who's a gang stalker, who's a paid rat snitch that harasses senior citizens for money under the table? Not me. Do you want a sheriff? I'm just gonna say it flat out. Who keeps having fucking babies and won't even marry the woman he's knocking up? I don't know about you. Maybe I'm just old, okay? Back in my day, you didn't do that unless you were getting married, okay? You weren't having babies out of wedlock. And then if you did, the guy would usually come forward and say, oh, let's get married. Not around here. This has been going on 6 years. I don't know. When a guy loves a woman, he will quickly put that ring on her finger and say, honey, let's get married. But that's our sheriff. That's right. And everybody thinks it's okay. Everybody just thinks that's okay. I don't think it's okay. But of course, that's my perspective on marriage and having children. Okay? That's the way I feel about it. So as far as the question that there are 4 million domestic terrorists in the United States, probably not. But genocide has always been fashionable and trendy to the U.S. government. And these are not my words. I'm merely reading an answer to a question that was posed on Quora. Now, I took it upon myself to ask ChatGPT about what is an enemy of the state? Because I know the first time I heard of it, because I didn't watch the movie. Like everybody says, oh, watch the movie. You don't understand. It's beyond understanding and comprehension that I'm on a list. Because when I became targeted, I didn't watch TV, I didn't vote, never engaged in politics or political discussion because I didn't understand it. I didn't know what the FBI or CIA did for a living. I really didn't know. I was too busy raising a daughter and dealing with a divorce that took a ridiculous 3.5 years. I had no interest. Too busy taking care of a house, cats, and everything. So the fact that what I'm going to describe to you is the definition for it makes no sense to me at all, which means that anybody at any time can label anyone an enemy of the state as a retaliatory means to harm an individual they either don't like, envious or jealous of, revenge for hire, any of those things. Okay? So being labeled an enemy of the state typically means that a government or ruling authority views a person as a threat to its power, stability, or interests. Now again, back in 2012, 2009, and even far back as that, this to me makes absolutely no sense to me. Didn't even vote, didn't watch TV, didn't go to the movies, didn't watch these movies and I never saw the movie The Enemy of the State. I don't know any of this garbage, right? So typically means that the person is the government or ruling authority views the person as a threat to its power, stability, or interests. This label has been used throughout history in different ways, sometimes officially through legal or political declarations, and sometimes unofficially through covert surveillance, harassment, or blacklisting. How can someone be labeled without their knowledge? A person can be labeled as a threat or enemy without direct notification, often through secretive processes. Well, who do you know that acts in secret? Who do you know that has influence that acts secretly? I don't know. I think those Freemasons are part of those secret societies. Because generally, politicians are not secret people. They're out in the public, right? So government watch lists, intelligence agencies, law enforcement, or political groups may flag someone as a potential risk. And again, this makes no sense to me. When this happened to me, makes absolutely no sense. I wasn't involved in any of these things. Surveillance and blacklisting. Individuals may be monitored, restricted from opportunities, or placed on lists affecting travel, employment, or financial access. And again, back then, none of this was affecting me. Whisper campaigns and smear tactics, false accusations, political targeting, or media influence can paint someone as an enemy without due process. The first time this has ever happened to me, to my awareness, was with Maria, who lives in Barnegat, New Jersey, married to a retired cop. She claimed she had a 501c3 nonprofit cat rescue, but she doesn't. You can go onto the IRS website and look up her cat rescue, which I'm not going to give you. It's not there. It doesn't exist because she never went through the process of becoming a bona fide 501c3 nonprofit. She never has, probably won't ever. But when I became a bona fide one, she flipped out big time and then started all these smear campaigns against me because she was secretly smearing me behind my back about my cat rescue, which, by the way, Freya's Cat Rescue was the first, and to the best of my knowledge, only registered feral cat cartel, that's what I call them, feral cat colony in the state of New Jersey. The only one. And that pissed off the cat people big time because you know what? Their idea is that feral cats are quote-unquote community cats. They don't belong to anyone individually. The community owns them. Well, the community doesn't want them. The community's not taking care of them. But they use this idea that they belong to the community so they can trap, neuter, and return them to the community with nobody caring for them. And that 30% of them die out in the environment due to horrific trap, neuter, return, TNR practices by inexperienced women and men. And this is not a slight to any of the women out there that have not had children. There are a lot of wonderful cat people that have never had kids, and this is why they love their animals and stuff. However, if you have never conceived and birthed and nursed and cared for an infant and had your body physically recover from the birthing process, don't ever effing tell me that you think that it's okay to throw a kitten that was just spayed and neutered and jabbied and ear-tipped back into the cold after 2 days and think that they will survive. And that's what these national and local feral cat rescue quote-unquote people do. Most of them, and there are articles about there, and they get all pissy about it. But most of these women have never had kids. They don't know what it's like. And it's sort of like, I don't know what it's like to be a man. You know, when men talk about how hard it is to be a man in society, like, I can feel your pain, but I don't know what it's like because I'm not a guy. Just the way these women don't know what it's like to birth a child. Carry them for 9 months. Feel the quote-unquote maternal instinct that develops during this process through hormones and then seeing the little faces that you birthed and adore. These women are totally clueless. They will take that cat, trap it, and you hope that it survives being trapped. You hope that it survives the TNR practice, and you kind of pray that after they're released, that they survive without pain and misery and torture. So the whisper and campaigns and smear tactics only happen to me that I'm aware of. Coming in contact with Maria in Barnegat, New Jersey, who other rescue people said, how did you get involved with her? She's such a bully. She inserted herself. She saw an opportunity. And as many narcissists, she grabbed onto the opportunity, set up a GoFundMe, collected the money, and ran. And photos of my cats are still on her Facebook page. So as far as the smear campaigns, that's the first time I ever experienced it. So why would this happen? Political dissent, speaking against the government or powerful figures. Actually, I never did that. I'm doing it now. I don't consider anybody around here all that powerful, though. But I'm not speaking against the government because of the government. I'm speaking against how they're misusing money and not repairing roads that affect everyone. But back in New Jersey, no, I didn't speak out against the government, or I don't know powerful figures there. I'm not a powerful person. I'm not connected with powerful people. I didn't know anybody like that. Whistleblowing, exposing corruption or misconduct. Well, I started to do that after I was tortured by the Manalapan, New Jersey Police Department. I did speak out against them in 2019. But mind you, all this happened 7 years before. Right? 7 years prior or longer. Here comes the good one. So why would this happen? Asset stripping. Targeted individuals to seize wealth, lands, or business assets. I'm going to repeat that for all you people out there, targeted or not, that own wealth, land, or business assets. Asset stripping. Revenge or control. Personal or institutional vendettas, sometimes disguised as legal actions. Social or economic threat. Some individuals are labeled simply for being influential in ways that challenge the status quo. Now again, back in New Jersey, I wasn't that person. I wasn't. I was quietly going to school, working, sometimes 4 jobs, raising my daughter, taking care of a house. That wasn't me. Until I started this YouTube channel and started working on it like the last 2.5 years, I wouldn't consider me to be influential at all. Although some would say that I was influential in the jobs that I had, because I worked my butt off and I made sure to dot all the T's, cross all the T's, and dot all the I's. I was what I guess you can say was a perfectionist. So who has the power to label someone as enemy? Well, there's the government agencies, intelligence, law enforcement, and national security entities. Honestly, back in New Jersey, I didn't know any of these people when I became targeted. I didn't know any of these people. Political leaders, those in power, can influence legal, media, or institutional actions. Again, ditto on number 1. Corporations and private interests. Powerful business entities can push narratives or legal actions for financial gain. If there were, I wasn't associated with any powerful business entities. I only became loosely associated with the feral cat cartel. But that was going back, I'm going to say around 2015. when that national cat rescue called me on a Friday night after receiving my letter, when they wanted to photograph my cats, and they did, but they refused to be reciprocal about it. And actually, they threatened that I cannot use any of the photos that they took of my cats. But that's already going back to like 2015, maybe 16. Influential groups or individuals. Sometimes a well-connected person can push for someone to be targeted through legal, financial, or political pressure. Now, this goes back to the celebrities that I was involved with that may or may not be connected to this. Because I will tell you that the celebrities that I was involved with are extremely well known. You would know who they are if I mention their names, and I won't. And I won't tell you anything about them other than that I was an astrologer. One of them contacted me through one of their newsletters. I responded. We became like kind of quick friends and stuff. And then literally these relationships lasted for I was looking back at my records, at least 5 years. At least. And I know this because one of their children at the time that they introduced me to, I'm going to say he was 10. I think he was around 10 years old. And the last contact that I had with them, he was going off to college. So actually, I think I was involved with them maybe longer than that, because I remember I completed my undergraduate degree. I completed my CADC, a certified, the drug and alcohol. I've completed all of that. I completed my Reiki master teacher, knowing them. And I was definitely through my master's degree. I don't know if I completed it at the time. I may have completed it at the time. No, I did. I did complete it at the time. And that was when they introduced me to this woman named Dawn, who I met in person, who is a witch. A bitchy witch. Very envious and jealous, histrionic, all of those things. And she started doing some really nasty things to me. And I finally revealed some of what she was doing to me to one of the, I'll just call him the head of the group of musicians. It was from that point forward that our relationship completely changed. So either it was set up for me to do that so that they could place me in a program, but every one of them, including that little boy that was now going into college, all of them, well, no, except one who was kind of not loosely connected to them, very connected to them, but I don't think he was involved in doing to me what they were doing. I believe that they may have been involved. That it could have been a joint effort between the Feral Cat Cartel and the musicians, and also that lawyer who personality tested me, my ex-husband's lawyer, who did not get paid by my ex-husband, by the way. And just for all you people out there to know, my ex-husband racked up thousands and thousands of legal bills. I paid all of mine, but he didn't. And what he did is he filed bankruptcy, and in bankruptcy court, they relieved all of his legal bills. So his lawyer did not get paid. Yeah, that creepo, that personality tested me. So this is a combination of things. So if you're thinking about this in a personal theoretical sense, it could be worth understanding the mechanisms behind it. So now, after looking at this process here, how is it possible? I looked up on Wikipedia. What is an enemy of the state? An enemy of the state is a person suspected of political crimes against the state, such as treason. In designating certain persons and organizations as enemy of the state, the government can realize the political repression of political opponents, such as the dissidents. Thus, a government can justify political repression as protecting national security of the country. That's according to Wikipedia. And ChatGPT terms enemy of the state. I asked ChatGPT, I said, what's the difference between an enemy of the state and a terrorist? So it says, They're related, but they're not synonymous, meaning they're not the same. An enemy of the state refers to an individual or group perceived as a threat to national security or government, often due to political dissent or actions against state interests. But what are state interests? The gang stalking program? Yeah, I'm against that. I'm against being a targeted person. I'm against being asset stripped. I'm against being harassed. I'm against my neighbors throwing dead animals into my mailbox. I'm against everybody in the neighborhood throwing trash on my property. Yeah, I am against that. This designation has been used historically to suppress political opponents or justify repression. I'll say it again. I am not a political person. I didn't vote most of my life. I could care less. So, and in contrast, a terrorist specifically denotes someone who engages in acts of terrorism using violence, intimidation, especially against civilians, to achieve political aims. Well, wait a minute. Doesn't this sound like those paid informants, those rat snitches? Someone who engages in acts of terrorism? They use violence or intimidation, like throwing IEDs on my property, or using their John Deere tractor wearing a black ski mask to tear down my gate? Aren't they achieving political aims like their own little MOs? Working for the county lawyer and the sheriff's department and whomever else? While terrorists can be labeled enemies of the state, not all individuals deemed enemies of the state engage in terrorism. So regarding the U.S. terrorism watch list, at the end of 2023, that was 2 years ago, it contained approximately 2 million names of individuals the government considered known or suspected terrorists, including thousands of Americans. The inclusion criteria is very broad, encompassing not only those with confirmed ties to terrorism, but also individuals suspected of potential involvement. Know what that means? Let's say you receive a random phone call from somebody that lives in another country, and you answer the phone. Click. That goes right into their database. Click. Right into their database. So you never know who you're communicating with. Goes right into the even though you've never spoken to this person, you have no idea who they are. Click. They'll use anything to create the link so that they can keep you on a list and gain money, asset strip you, and torment you, because these are psychopaths. The expansive approach aims to enhance national security. Really? I'm just going to say, guys, now, you've seen all those people that go into the schools and do nasty stuff, and how about on the Kentucky highway, and then after that they go into the woods and they just disappear. As far as national security goes, they have not caught any threat to national security, including 9/11. But we won't go there, because then we'll engage in conspiracy theories that I don't want to get into. So it has raised concerns about the accuracy and fairness of the listings. And it's important to note that most individuals on the watch list are not Americans and have no known connection to the U.S. Well, that's not true. ChatGPT, that is wrong. Okay, oh no, never mind. I'm not going to say wrong to ChatGPT. ChatGPT caught it from cbsnews.com. Well, come on. ChatGPT, you could use a better source than cbsnews.com. And then, and from the FBI, my favorite Bureau of Investigation, says the exact reasons for a large number of entries involve, listen to this, guys, complex intelligence assessments and preventative security measures. If you believe you've been wrongfully included on a list, it's advisable to consult legal counsel to explore options for redress. Well, they don't allow us to get legal representation because the FBI will send their goons to harass and torment, blackball, and threaten all the people that you contact, including realtors. So I'm on to you this time. And I will file some redress if my house does not sell this year. That's right. Just a warning. If my house does not sell and you continue vandalizing my property to reduce its value or prevent it from selling, there will be a lawsuit. If I have to file it myself, I will do it. And I've done it before. And I'm capable of doing it. So now, I asked about how they destroy property when you're blacklisted. Property vandalism and potential land theft are serious concerns that require immediate attention. Here's how you can approach the issue. In Jackson County, Kentucky, and Manalapan, New Jersey, I cannot believe what ChatGPT gave me. You're not going to believe this. Document the incidents, gather evidence, take photographs and videos of the vandalism and any suspicious activities, maintain records, keep a detailed log of dates, times, and descriptions of each incident. Now this is where it gets fuzzy. Report to the local authorities, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. They have old information here, so they're saying to contact Sheriff Paul Hayes. He hasn't been around for, I guess it's a year? Maybe we're going on 2 years. Contact the circuit court clerk and check for any unauthorized claims against your property. The same thing in Manalapan, New Jersey. Report incidents to the Manalapan Police Department promptly so they can investigate their own selves and find that there's nothing wrong. Property records. Verify the status of your property with local clerks to ensure there's no unauthorized changes have been made. Seek legal counsel. Get a property attorney. Get protective orders against the people harassing you. Enhance property security. Install surveillance. Engage community resources. Go to community meetings. Attend local meetings and voice your concerns and seek support. Well, they never tell you when they are. Monitor property records. Periodically review property records to ensure that there's no unauthorized transactions or claims have been made against your property. Consider obtaining title insurance to protect against the potential fraudulent claims. It's essential to act swiftly and decisively to protect your property rights. Engaging local authorities and legal professionals will provide you with the necessary support, and guidance to address this situation effectively. So this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. That took a little bit longer than I expected to. So what we discussed here is the difference between the definition of enemy of the state and being watch listed and targeted. Okay. I also discussed early on that I received a phone call from an alleged targeted person who has emailed me, who I responded to this morning and said, I've been really busy with the snow. I can't address this now, but had the audacity to look up my phone number somewhere and leave a very detailed voice message. Do not ever do that. This is a warning. If I didn't give you my phone number, that means I don't want you to call me. What part of that don't you get? I have a private life too. I'm a YouTube creator, and I have a life. And it doesn't mean trampling my boundaries, which I take very seriously. So don't do it. I won't be responding to you. But this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. Signing off for now. Please remember to hit the thumbs up. Please share this information to all, especially the targeted people, about the definitions and the distinctions between being watch listed and targeted and what is an enemy of the state and what the determination is. Okay? Signing off for now.